and we felt like we could put this into the genre of melodrama. The reason we've decided to do this is because melodrama intensifies, exaggerates the emotion through the film, and we felt like with mental disorders and stereotypes would be perfect to fit into melodrama. Films that are similar to other films that are melodramas are things like The Notebook. In The Notebook, there is huge exaggerations of love and declarations of one another's love. In The Godfather, there is loads of scenes with intense emotions, and they're very exaggerated. There's guns going off, there's anger, there's a lot of exaggerated emotions. And we felt like our media product, Incurable, our film, would fit best into melodrama, as we felt like we wanted to exaggerate the emotions going through Bella's head. We wanted to exaggerate the severity of her mental illness. We felt like this could gratify the audience more. The strengths to this is obviously the film then becomes more enjoyable, as exaggeration can be used to gratify the audience and make them want to watch it more. Some downsides, some weaknesses to this are it is a very touchy subject, and if we do over exaggerate too much, it can come across as joking or inappropriate. We don't want to come across this way. We try to not over exaggerate, but exaggerate to the point where it's enjoyable enough for the audience to want to watch, to want to connect with the film. If I was to do this again, I may improve the way we've done it by having a test screening, having people watch our film and then give us feedback. We sort of did that, but only with students within our class. So maybe if we had a screening of maybe 50 or 80 people, maybe that's still a lot of people, but we get a lot of feedback from that, and that could be really useful for us in knowing whether we've gone too far with a certain word or a certain phrase or a certain scenario, and that could really aid us. If we were to actually properly produce our film, the full-length film along with marketing and all that, and actually distribute it to the market, then we may do it via Netflix or other online streaming systems. We might also put it into theatres and see if we could get it into cinemas and stuff. We'd want to mass marketly produce this film. We feel as though getting the message out there and of mental illnesses could really aid people in understanding what goes on behind the scenes. Also, another reason why we want to mass marketly produce our film is because we feel as though it's a good film and people will want to watch something like this. There's a lot of stigma about mental illnesses, and so having a film about it that could connect the audience with certain characters may make them realise that it's not all that bad, as 1 in 4 people have depression. That's not a mental illness that is going to send people off the rails. That's not a mental illness that's going to turn someone crazy. But it is a mental illness that affects 1 in 4 people. And that's a huge figure. So that mental illness doesn't affect other people. It affects the person solely inside them. And we feel like by touching upon a certain mental illness such as schizophrenia, we feel as though we could maybe just open up discussion about mental illnesses, and the more people talk about it, the less it becomes, the less of a stigma there is around the topic, and it becomes easier for people to talk about maybe their depression or anxiety or whatever they have. It becomes easier for them to talk about. So we feel like mass producing it will get the word out and ultimately get people talking about mental illness.